It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. Tonight on Trains and Tech, we're going to continue a little bit like what we were working on, a little like, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. A little bit about, we're going to try and program some more locomotives. Last week we used JMRI and we addressed them all. You know, hello locomotive. This week I'm going to attempt to actually program them to do what I want to do. The goal eventually is to use the proto throttle to run all of my locomotive pairs. I enjoy that. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And to do that takes a little bit of programming. So we'll open up the ESU programmer and we'll see where we get. Yes, I should probably put the music back on and start over again. I will say I'm a little confused. I don't know where it started. I don't know why people think I can play the upright bass. I have never learned any string instruments. I've always wanted to. I owned a guitar for a little bit and it sat in the corner and collected dust. I have never learned to play a string instrument, and I'm kind of a little bummed about that at times, but you know. And Ray was saying I should perform my theme song in Amherst. I haven't made any plans to go to Amherst yet. I don't know why. I'm assuming a lot of people are going, but my violin's under the bed. Does it play itself from under there? I haven't made any reservations for Amherst. I do want to go. I have a big work job that is going on that same time, and I guess I've just been kind of caught up with work and stuff. So, you know. Adam's talking about his violin practice. I have a trumpet that is sitting somewhere that most of the hotels are sold out. Great. Lovely. I usually book like way ahead of time. I looked, I think in like May or June to book a hotel, and they weren't open yet. I couldn't do it, and then I just sort of forgot about it. And then Bernard streamed today at 7 a.m. He does the first Wednesday of every month at 7 a.m. Eastern time. And he mentioned that Amherst is like 11 weeks away. And I was like, no, it can't be. It can't almost be 2025. There was a time in my life where I would have brought a tent. That time is not now. But yeah, if you don't know, or at least my understanding is, I could be wrong, I might not know, Dennis from Otter Creek apparently plays all of the music on his videos. So if you like the music that Dennis uses on his videos, apparently he's actually a talented musician in addition to being a talented modeler. Who knew? I didn't know. Before we get to the train that's sitting over there, and I just realized the lights are off, so you're not gonna be able to see it very well, but let's turn that light on. There you go. Oh, sorry, Dennis. Sorry, it's shaking, I know. Oh, only the opening song. I thought all your music. Well, I'm not watching any more of your videos then. That's just lame. Before we get to that over there, and hopefully it stopped. Yeah, I know, you're sick and I'm over there shaking the camera. Before we get to that locomotive was professionally painted and set up by this gentleman right here, which is why I've got that hopper sitting under there. I'm going to use that as my template, let's say, and try to apply that to the other 20 or so locomotives that are sitting up here. Now, there are going to be some slight differences. I'm going to need to test some things to see if they actually work, but that's kind of the plan, is to take one, make it a template, apply it to everything else, and hopefully everything will be perfect, right? Before we get there, let's talk about some stuff that's on the Workbench. I got another item from Iron Planet Hobbies. He registered hobby.shop. So if you go to hobby.shop on the web, it'll actually now go to the Iron Planet Hobby website. He told me, I don't know if you guys know this, but part of the reason why I got to know Ryan is he actually runs operations, and he's starting to work on his layout to start doing operations sessions again. So I'm curious to see what he's going to put together. But they are doing a fall sale, 5% off coupon, fall 24. Of course, if you've been paying attention and you were watching the slideshow at the beginning, you'll know that there's a discount code. Ryan has been supporting my channel for a while, and I've been doing what I can to support his store, but 10% off on most items if you use the code HUMAN. So this is the last item he sent me. Before that, I got this guy. We got the Halloween car from Microtrains. What did you get, Thomas? What did you get? So this is the last thing that he sent. I'll put that, I guess, up there, and we will try and get this open right here. Is it still considered an unboxing if it's already out of the box, or is it only considered an unboxing if I do like the whole thing? Oh, I wish I had a B&H discount code, but boy, I don't. The only discounts codes I have are, ooh, the DS74s are nice. I got one of those, two of those sitting over here somewhere. The only discount codes I have are for Iron Planet Hobbies, PGH Trained Fanatic, Mini Prints, and Iowa Scaled Engineering. Dennis used the code for a TCS CNGP decoder for an old locomotive. Unwrapping, yeah, is 9 minutes after the hour first unwrapping. So are we going to change that for, can you use human fall 20? No, that unfortunately, yeah. Just walk in and drop my name. I've spent enough money there. As much money as I have spent at B&H, I have spent nothing compared to what other people have spent. No problem, Devon, as long as you have brought donuts for everybody. And there are 48 people right now, so, 4 dozen donuts should be good. Okay, let's get this thing open. Being an N scaler, I'm a fan of this company called Microtrains. They make a whole micro mouse series, and this is this year's Christmas car. And I'm looking at this thing. Micro mouse and family sit around TV watching cherished family movies. Modified offset window. Very interesting. So yeah, this is the Christmas one for 2024. You can see 2024 up there. Micro mouse. This is another one of their micro mouse things. So I like that stuff. Fastest unboxing ever. $32 for an N scale car. Yeah. I guess American made in Oregon. But yes, already a loose wheel. I was going to point that out, and then I decided to keep my mouth shut. I got a phone call today from Iron Planet Hobby saying a locomotive I never ordered was in and need me to finalize payment. Well, did you buy the locomotive? Things happen sometimes. Hey, at least they called to ask you for payment and didn't just charge you already. How did you see that in development in March? Where were you at the factory? John from TSG Multimedia did a video at the factory, how they make their rolling stock and stuff. So if you want to see what Microtrains does and how much they do here in the US, which is pretty much everything, go check out that video by TSG Multimedia. I did get a couple other things in the mail. I do still subscribe to this guy, Railroad Model Craftsman. I'm kind of curious about this. As people know, this is like version 134 or something like that of my layout design. So I'm curious to see this article on future-proof your layout design, because I don't know if that's possible. I mean, everybody that I know that's got a layout has like redesigned it like 100 times. So I don't know. Talking about movable layouts, Essex County Railway. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. There's usually a couple of good articles in here. A bunch of advertisements. I usually look at some of the pictures. The other thing I got is the latest N-Scale Enthusiast catalog. Already planning for the 2025 convention in Kansas City. There's a glow-in-the-dark caboose. I don't know why. I feel like I need that. I need the glow. I don't know why I need the glow-in-the-dark caboose, but yeah, that's pretty cool. Anyway, that's some of the stuff I got in the mail. I'm really just procrastinating because I am dinner's ready. I'm procrastinating because I'm a little nervous about getting this whole thing set up. Get night ops. I just do my night ops back here like this with the lights all dark. Well, I guess if I do this, you can see a little better. That's how I do my night ops. I don't need anything glow in the dark. You know, this works fine. Plenty of light. I knock every time I do stuff on the layout like this, I knock various cars off. Then I got to go back and put them back on. What do you guys think? Should I keep these? Ditch these? Make them smaller? I don't know. I'm still undecided. Oh, it seems like I knocked more off the layout than originally. I don't know what's happening. It seems to be stuck. I don't know why it's stuck. I'll have to fix that before the next op session. I need to have another op session. It's been a long time since I've done any ops on the layout, but I guess let's get these locomotives going, right? How many op sessions have you had? So if I was smart, which I'm not, if I was smart, I would have actually written it down. I don't know how many I've had. Probably somewhere between 6 and 10. Maybe. Something like that. I don't know. I did find a way in JMRI. There's a checkbox that you can check off, and it will keep a log of all of the trains that you've run. So you can go back and you can like see like, oh, on this date we ran this train. I just found out about that setting. So from here on forward, I'm going to be documenting it. But unfortunately, I don't have that done. All right. So what I am going to do is I've got a blank document, and this is where I'm going to start, because before I can transfer the data from one, just show the Conrail and I'll give you a thumbs up. What do I have Conrail on the layout? Here, this is if I can get it to uncouple. This is the Conrail that I have on the layout. Does that get me a thumbs up? This is a nice Conrail caboose. I think it's Blueford, if I'm not mistaken, but I love these bay window cabooses. I think they're very, 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 very good looking cabooses. But anyway, thumbs up here. Anyway, let's get back to this. So in order to transfer over all of the information, I need to actually document it first. So I'm going to go here, open up the ESU programmer. These are the options: open an existing, create a new one, modify settings of an ESU decoder. I think we're going to create a new decoder project, I think. Or are we going to modify the settings? I haven't done this in a while. I'm actually not sure which is the best. The first thing I'm going to do is basically upload everything off that locomotive and see what it says. I would like to see some pacemaker switching ops. I got to get the pacemaker stuff on the layout. I don't have it on there yet. Dennis has had 2, and he hasn't invited me to either of them. Oh, you've had 3 operators on your layout. That's really cool. I think the most I'm going to have on this layout, I think, is gonna be 3. But so far I've only had 2, and that's been working so far pretty well. Dennis, N-Scale Train Boy, was here. We had 2 operators. I'm sorry, I like get OCD. I'm like over here, there's cars off the track, and I'm over here trying to get them back on the track instead of just paying attention and just like, I'm having a squirrel night, if you know what I mean by that. I just like, I see things that need to be done and I'm just getting distracted and just doing them, and then now I can't reach that car because it's back here. So let's try and use a little ramp. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, and I'm sure this just makes such great content when I'm halfway between trying to program a locomotive. There we go. There we go. Whew. Oh. The life of N-Scale. So I just got all of these cars back on this track, and then what do? I dump 2 cars off the track next to it. So now I've got this track fixed mostly, although I've got 1 car that's still being awkward. And I just dumped another 2 cars. This is why, like, just like do one thing at a time. Oh man, did you guys hear about this? I don't know if this is what Steve is talking about or not, but there was a squirrel in New York that somebody had basically kind of taken as a pet. They were like feeding it and doing all kinds of stuff, and I don't know the whole story. Yeah, Dennis, I gotta come join you. A video call. Yeah, we could do it that way too. Yeah, Peanut. I don't really understand why, but I don't know. Okay, anyway, create a new project. Now it wants to know what, see, this is what I don't know. I guess this is why I didn't want to create a new project, because I don't actually know what the decoder is yet. Read, write CVs, let's, tools, supported decoders. Somewhere there's a place. Is it here? Read decoder data? Somewhere you can like, you can, oh, I know what I need to do. It's here. Oh, but it's read decoder data. But for whatever reason, I don't know, you know, I'm starting to wonder, do I even have this plugged in? I probably should have checked before the stream. Yeah, I don't know the whole story. Look up Peanut New York City, the squirrel. Dennis, your layout's 100% set up for it? That's really cool. I didn't realize it was 100% ready to go. That's one thing I need to work on as well. I keep saying that I want to do it. I just haven't done it yet. But I want to set my layout up so that you can have conductors in the room and engineers remotely. All right, so I just set it I just plugged it in. I didn't know it wasn't plugged in. Decoder generations, notify before firmware updates. Yeah, whatever. LokProgrammer, general settings. It doesn't say what the, oh, now it's thinking. Now I broke it. This is going to be a great stream. So I thought when the timer at the beginning actually worked, I was getting really excited because I thought, oh, this is like going to be a good stream. And then right before the stream actually started, when it went from the countdown to the next thing, it flashed up some like random number. So I don't know. All right, let's see if this is working. Oh, it's not going to work because I didn't throw the switch. So if you remember, if you don't remember, I've got a switch over here that switches between JMRI and, oh, of course it's behind the thing, but there's a switch here that switches from JMRI to the ESU programmer. I hadn't flipped it, but now that I flipped it, look at that. So this is a LokSound 5, but it doesn't say what, doesn't give me more information than that. There we go. Firmware version, boot rate version, production info, production date, 1/6/2020. Oh, see, it's not a LokSound 5. It's a LokSound Select Direct Micro. The Direct Micros do have different, what do you call it? Different braking than the LokSound 5. The LokSound 5 are much better. But this is what I've got set up. We'll figure out a 5 at some point, and go from there. I kind of wonder, update decoder firmware. I'm wondering if there is a new firmware. Anyway, so read write CVs. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see all this. So what I want to do is read decoder data. And it should then tell me what this locomotive is set at. And then I'll copy it and I'll put it into my little sheet and we'll get going. Daylight savings time. Yeah, I am a whole day off. Maybe more than that. Maybe less than that. Maybe somewhere in the middle. Might have to restart the app. It did come back. I think I got lucky. So they took Peanut and his raccoon friend. Oh, they took a raccoon too? I didn't realize there was a raccoon involved. Oh, 7 years. Man. Just let people do their thing. Okay, so LokSound Direct Micro project is 32-bit. Using long address, the decoder will only respond to DCC commands. So that's really the only thing. I'm not going to save anything on this one because there's not really anything I need to transfer. Analog settings, active functions in analog mode. I guess should we turn off DC analog mode? I think that was what Ed O'Connell was saying last week, that you should disable the analog mode on the locomotives, and that way they won't run off if there's an issue. Oh, so it'll automatically tell me if there's a firmware update available? Well, so far it hasn't told me there's a firmware update available. So that's I guess a good thing. Yes, disabling analog is recommended. There we go. So I got something right. Okay, so we'll leave that one alone. ABC brake system. We're not using ABC brake system. I don't think we are. Are we? Voltage differencing indicating. Yeah, I don't have ABC brake setting set up. Auto stop in presence of DC polarity. Brake on forward, brake on reverse. I guess that means it shouldn't run away on me. Dynamic brake setting. Time from maximum speed to stop when dynamic brake is enabled. I am going to save that information because I believe that is one of the settings that I am going to want to set for this. I think what I should probably also do is not that. I want to, oh, here, decoder information. Oh, why did it lose that? I'm going to save this as well, just so that I know. Oh, it bit somebody. Oh. Use dynamic braking, it sounds cool. Heath, did you do your hair tonight? Looks like you're 25, maybe it's the shirt. It is just my sexy, my sex appeal, I think. I don't think I did anything special today, but, you know, I appreciate the nice comments anyway. Sparky, are you coming down to Amherst this year? We were doing a little conversation about Amherst before you got here. Let's go back here. Brake settings. Okay. DCC settings. Railcom settings. I'm not going to worry about that. Detect speed step mode automatically. Does anybody actually understand what that really means? I mean, is it just saying that the decoder, the CV in the decoder is set for 128 steps? Or where does it get the speed step information from when it's automatic? I don't know. Driving characteristics. This is what I want to set up here. Acceleration and deceleration. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we found out that enable brake time deceleration is backwards between the select micros and the fives. I don't know if that's completely true. I could just be making that up, but this is what this one's set at, so I'm going to record that data. So all I'm doing right now is documenting. So no trim forwarding, we'll get to that. Startup delay. Starting delay if drive sound is enabled. I kind of hate this, to be honest. You're not sure if you actually have control of the locomotive because it doesn't move right away, and sometimes you don't hear the sound as well. Sparky says no Amherst for me, not allowed to take off work. That's why I haven't booked Amherst yet, is because of work obligations. So we're gonna see. Sparky says I said nothing about sexy. I heard what I heard, and I'm sticking with what I heard. Where's the Friday and Saturday night social pizza party at the La Quinta Inn? I may have to stay at the La Quinta. I heard a lot of the other hotels are already booked. I'll have to sit at the train show and do this to most of mine. That's probably a good place to do it. And I'm sure if you have questions, there will be lots of people that could help you out with that. Oh, interesting. Stop immediately on speed step 0. Obviously, if I want to use the brake function, I need to make sure that that is not checked. Function output. So this one's, oh, let's not switch that. This one's interesting because these are only labeled, I think, if you download the actual like config or whatever. But these, you can like change all of these things, like power on delay. I'm not going to change any of these, but yeah, I'm just going to leave these. I'm not going to touch these for now. Does ESU have a booth at Springfield? They did last year. Their booth last year was bright. It was bright, bright, bright. Why don't you save the file as original and edit a second one? That's a good idea. I haven't actually started editing anything yet, but that's a good point, though. Let's. I'm just gonna save this on the desktop. 1973. We'll call it just for the locomotive number, because you would say yes to stop at 0. So because I am using the brake function, the way you generally want to do it is you bring the speed, the speed on the throttle to 0, and then you use the brake to stop the locomotive. So if you have it stop at speed step 0, then you won't get to use the brake. Oh, that's interesting. Is ESU moved over to the wall by Bernard, or has Bernard been moved into the center of the space? Function settings, general physical output settings, frequency for braking lights, grade crossing, holding time. I don't really know what either of those are, but we'll save those just because they're here, and I kind of want to make as complete of a document as I can. Function mapping. This is where the fun, in my opinion, the fun really starts. So these are all of the functions as they are programmed. So you can see, like, what I like about the ESU stuff is I think you could do. Oh, Bernard's in the center. Wow, good for him. Yeah, with the proto throttle, you want a lot of momentum, so you don't want it to stop when on 0. Will you have sound? So what I do on mine is I take the drive sounds, the engine sounds, and I bring the volume way, way down, almost to nothing. I leave like the horn and stuff up so that you can hear like the other sounds, but the sounds that are just like constantly on, I bring them way down. I'm also going to have the layout set up so that any of the tracks can be turned off. So like in my engine yard, I'll be able to turn off all of the tracks where the engines are just sitting and not being used. So none of those will be making noise until you turn those tracks on. So theoretically, you'll have a consist of 2 locomotives, and there will be 2 operators. So you'll have 4 locomotives with sound going at once. So it shouldn't, theoretically, I say it shouldn't, it hopefully will not be too cacophonous. But to me, this function mapping here, this is where the ESU decoders really shine. You know, for example, here, drive F4, not F6, dynamic brake, stop F4, disable brake sound. So F4 then is your dynamic brake. I thought disable dynamic brake also is set at F10. I need to look into this. I need to remember. Sounds noisy. We'll see. You know, I'll play with the volume. We'll definitely play with the volume. So what I don't know is, and what I have to remember that I don't remember is whether I'm supposed to use dynamic brake or whether I'm supposed to use independent brake. And I don't remember, like, people will have different theories about what to use, and I don't know. I'm going to change some of these. I do like F4 as the brake, though. That seems to be pretty standard for my area. So like most operators in this area will know to hit F4. But yeah, you can remap all of the F keys. What I really like though about the F keys is this whole thing where you can say like, is it moving or is it not moving? You know, if it's moving, you know, it doesn't matter the direction. You know, F4 is on, F6 is off. Like you can set all these different kind of parameters, and you could have another parameter that's like here that says, so F4, if the locomotive's moving and F4 is pressed, then it activates the dynamic brake. But if the locomotive is stopped and you press F4, it just disables the brake sound. And I think that's kind of cool that you can, I'm guessing you can do that with, I mean, I'm assuming you can do that with all of the sound decoders. I don't know how, I'll be honest, I don't know how this works with non-ESU decoders, meaning like, I mean, I'm guessing you can program all this in JMRI, or program this all via modifying CVs and stuff. The F4 dynamic brake sound won't stop until the train stops. There you go. Oh, so if you didn't have this other one, it would just keep going and going? Interesting. So what's hard with some of these is like, I don't know off the top of my head what sound slot 1 is or sound slot 2 is. And because I downloaded it off the locomotive, the software doesn't know. I can go onto ESU's website and find the file, the default file for this locomotive, and load in all of the names so that I do know. I just don't know. Is it wise to change brake or deceleration settings if you run remote operations? All right. So, is it wise? Good question. I am the way I'm setting it up for remote operations is, in my opinion, it's sort of a prototypical type scenario. So there will be a conductor in the room telling the engineer, you know, bring it ahead, you know, 5 car lengths. Okay, 4 cars, 3 cars, 2 cars, 1 car. So the engineer will be operating the train at the direction of the conductor. So it's not going to be as big of an issue as I think some people might think it will be, like Robert says it will be. But yeah, David, if I'm going to change them around and I don't know what the names are, I took a screenshot of the sound and function chats and put them in a folder in my Photos app. And that's kind of what I'm doing right here, is I'm making this document of all this stuff. At some point, I'll have to go through and load the actual one to get these all named, and then take all of this information and blah, 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 blah. But for now, user identification, nothing is set. Compatibility, SUSI mapping, whatever that is. Motor settings, here's the speed curve. Use 3 values, start meaning high, speed curve. I am going to eventually set the speed table using the purple hat by Hans Tanner over at the IOTT site. So all of this is going to be at some point be changed, but for now, I'm gonna save this into this file just so I have it as well. Anyone want to try and explain back EMF to the group? Feel free. I've read the information about 6,000 times. Still couldn't tell you still couldn't explain it to anybody with any accuracy, but I think right now these are all basically defaults. I don't think John changed all of these when he first did this. There are a lot of different settings here to go through. Need to replace the stock WOW sound decoders in my chargers to ESU. For remote factor of delay. Yeah, I'm not, so here's the other thing I'm gonna do. I don't think it's in here. Let's see, is this it? This might be it. So F7 is currently set up. Let's see, can we see this? So F7 is currently set up that if you hit F7, it switches to what's called switching mode. And basically, switching mode disables momentum. So if you are a remote operator or if you are a local operator and don't want the momentum, you can hit F7, turn off switching mode, and then it'll run, it'll run without momentum, and essentially when you go to 0, it'll thanks. Oh, yeah. You could also just hit all the buttons. That is true. Eventually you'll find it. That's the other thing that's nice about the ESU programmer is you can go here into the driver's cab and actually, well, you're not going to be able to hear it because I'm over here, but you can actually, let's see, can you tell if the lights came on? No, probably not. But you can actually run the locomotive from here, which is kind of good because then you could like test functions and stuff like that. Well, that's interesting. It didn't move in the little window up there. It didn't move. Let's see. Is it? Let's see if it moves here. Oh. It looks like my camera locked up. Well, that's fun. Because it's moving over here, but it's not moving over there. And it just keeps smacking into the ends. So I'll have to play with it a little bit and figure out why that's not working. If you're going to use back EMF, make sure it's on and set when running the purple hat. Oh, I thought they told you to turn it off. I thought that was one of the things that Hans Tanner said was turned off. Yeah, technology's great. Love it. Always helpful. With this new computer, for whatever reason, I seem to be having NDI issues. And I don't really know why. It's kind of frustrating because, well, I mean, it's frustrating because, right? Let's see. Yeah, so for whatever reason, it completely lost the thing to that camera. Of course it did. We're just going to keep documenting stuff. Heath, do you have to do this for each loco, or can settings you see be distributed? If it's the same type of locomotive, right? So I have several of the same series of Atlas S2 locomotives. So I can create one file and drop it onto each of the S2 locos just by changing the sound. So I will definitely do that on any locomotives that have the same decoder and are the same type locomotives. You basically have to create a file for each type of locomotive slash decoders. Yeah, it's not plug and play, but I do like that it's all basically like regular language, right? Like I don't need to remember that CD238 does blah 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 blah. Oh, that's not what he told me in an email. I'll have to watch his videos again when I go to do it. Maybe he just says turn off acceleration and deceleration. Maybe he doesn't say to turn off back EMF, and I'm just remembering it wrong. But yeah, what I like about this is, yes, it's not really plug and play, but you don't have to memorize all of the various CVs. That said, you can if you want. Here, here's a list of all of the CVs and all of their values. So if you're somebody that likes programming all your locomotives by CV, you absolutely can. I do not like doing that though. Motor settings, okay, we copied all of that. Smoke unit, there is no smoke unit on this diesel locomotive. Here we go, enable protocols, DCC, Markland Selectress, we probably don't need those. Okay, memory settings, persistent function and persistent speed. So if I understand that, I'm not sure. So persistent function, I'm assuming that means that if the layout loses power and comes back on, it will remember the last function settings. So if you had, oh, there you go. His early video is not correct. Huh. If people don't know, if you go to Mike Deep Run Railroad, Mike has some videos, in addition to Hans Tanner's videos, Mike did his own videos setting up and using the purple hat for speed matching. So persistent function, I believe, means that if the locomotive loses connection or whatever, that the lights and everything will stay back on. Persistent speed, I don't know if I really want that check though. Because I would think that means that if you lose connection or whatever and then it regains connection, that the car will shoot. But I don't know. We're going to leave that for now. Sound selection. Hold on one second. I just had to sneeze. Sound selection. So sound configuration 71. 71 should be the sound specific for the actual motor that's in this engine. You can change this, but if you do, you'll get different sounds. Use an external wheel sensor. We're not going to worry about that. Random sounds, minimum distance, maximum. Here we go. Volume, master volume. Fade sound will reduce volume 2. So you can set a function key. Looks like right now the master volume is at 140.63%. Brake sounds, heavy load, coast sounds. So I'm not going to save these because these are pretty much going to be different for every locomotive. But we'll see. Sound setting. So if I would have downloaded one, all of these would have actually have come in with names instead of just sound slots. I actually wonder. I should, here, let's actually do this. Let's actually go to, let's find the ESU website, ESU sound decoders. Okay, so if you go to ESU's website, you can go, I forget where it is. Is it downloads? Go to downloads, you can go to sound files, and you can look up the sound files for your locomotive. So that is a LokSound Select Micro. So here, LokSound for American and Australian. LokSound Select Retail Sound File. So that's an Atlas locomotive. It should be in here somewhere, but then basically you can just scroll through, and that is a GP40, but I don't know what I'm gonna have to look up. I don't know what's, boy, this is search products. I don't know if that's gonna work if I search GP30 here. I haven't done this in a while. Okay, so LokSound Select Retail Files. Equipped with ESU full throttle features, 567 prime mover, 567 prime mover. This has a 567 D2. This is a 567 D3. Oh, I see. This is a GP20 and this is a GP30. So this is probably the sound file. This is the second version of this popular 567 Turbo. So this is a 567 D3. last change 2018, last change 2016. So I'm going to download this one. And it's the Select Direct Micro. Are people like yelling at me in the chat right now? I imagine people are, because I probably would be. Oh no, inner ear surgery. Oh, yuck. Oh, that's no fun. That's no fun at all. Okay, so that was just downloaded. So now if I go back to here, so remember this page now, right? If you look at it, it's just the it just says sound slot, right? It doesn't really tell you anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save this one, and I'm going to go here, and we're going to open the one that I just downloaded. And now if I go to the sound slot settings, you can now see they're all labeled. I'm going to say this is probably correct. Run 8, radiator fan, Leslie. So what you need to just check too is, so this is sound configuration 3. So we had 71 is what was on the other one. So now when I go here, it says EMD 16 567 D3 turbo. Let's see if I go like to 70. So these, I guess, are all, it's not changing. A lot of times it'll change the horn or the bell or something. Oh, here you go. See, this is prime mover. I don't know if you can see that. So this says prime mover number 104. But if I go back to 71, which is what it was set at before, it's the EMD 16 573D turbo. So yeah, it's kind of a little confusing. Just speak louder when you're on my right side. So far you're good, Heath. Am I talking loud enough? Yeah, man, that hearing stuff. I don't know, man. That's I don't know. Like my dog is definitely losing her hearing, and I kind of like, you can kind of tell because you come up behind her, and you can tell like sometimes she doesn't hear you. So Thomas, I thought about getting it. BLI used to have one that all it would do would be to set the address. They have a new one that now, oh, this looks like, is this working again? Hey, it's working again. Maybe. BLI now has one that does more stuff. I don't know. I don't. I do have a bunch of BLI locomotives. I just use JMRI with my BLI locomotives. So theoretically, all of these sound slots now, if I went back and if I open up this other program, save changes, no. If I open up this other program, right, all these sound slot settings, I could theoretically go in here and I think there's a way to change the labels. I thought there's a way, somewhere there's a way to change all the labels, but instead, I don't know if you see the volumes changing on each, so I don't know. I guess I just need to figure out, I got to figure out what I need to do. Well, I mean, I guess I got it documented. So I guess that's part of the battle. I didn't think this was going to take so long, and I don't necessarily know what I was thinking I was going to do at this point either. I'm now curious though. Let's see if I can get this to work now. Probably not, because now that everyone's watching again, it probably won't work. Hey, it's moving. That's a good sign. See now how F4 is showing fan? I don't know why it's showing an image of a fan there. So if we go a little faster, it seems like it's on speed step 20 at 28. And if I turn off, so momentum's still going. And if I hit the brake, oh, there you go, it did stop. So I guess that's a good sign. It's kind of working. But I like that you can test things right from here. This is with momentum. Oh, so you guys can't see what's happening. Oh, I just crashed into the wall. Let's see. Okay, so there we go. You should be able to see it now. So the locomotive is way at the, it's at the far end right now. It's all the way down here, far end. So if I run it back, it should start moving. So it's moving. So I'm going to take the speed down to 0. Oh, and I still have F4 set. I shouldn't have had F4 set. So start it moving. Theoretically, it's moving. If I bring it down and I hit F4, and it stops, I think. So I think it's working. Maybe. I don't have a lot of track to test it on, so it's a little hard to tell. It's a little hard to tell what it's actually. So it's off, still moving. I hit F4 and it stops. So I think it is working. Again, the Loc-Sound Select micros don't have a lot of like feathering. The 5s have what they call pulse braking, which is much better because you hit F4 and it like doesn't stop immediately. So the reason why there's delay, Derek, is because I've got momentum set. So that means that once I bring the, once I bring the what's this called? The speed thing back down to 0, the train should keep moving and the train should not stop until I actually apply the brake. And the brake is F4 in this case. So you see it stops. Oh, I see. It's set to, I see. It was set to 28 there. So now, yeah, so now I've got 1 through 28. I don't know, what do you run yours at? 28 speed steps or 128 speed steps? I guess if I'm using the proto throttle, it's not really. And brake. All right, so we can zoom in a little bit, and I'll just say what I'm doing. So the throttling up, the locomotive should start moving. I had F4 still on, so it wasn't moving. All right, so locomotive starts moving, throttle down, and F4, and it stops. So yeah, so there is delay. There's definitely momentum. It's kind of my life story, I guess. A little delay, but yeah, I mean, I can hear the sounds here. I know you guys can't hear the sounds there, but it's kind of. I keep bringing the slider up and forgetting to take off 4. All right, so throttle's down to 0 again. Locomotive's still moving. You hit F4 and it stops. So cool. Like that stuff. Anyway, that's what I'm working on. I don't know. I mean, I got like 20 locomotives to go through, so there's a lot of stuff to do. I'll get through it eventually, but it's going to take a little bit, but that's, I guess that's part of the fun, right? From the city that's going to sleep tonight, because I didn't sleep much last night. Farewell, model citizens.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.